Mr. Tipton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director, thank you for taking the time to be here. I had a few areas that I'd like to be able to try and cover. And the first area would be in regards to the prepaid card proposed rules that you have. And my understanding under the Bureau's proposal, I'd like to ask, how many separate disclosures would a card issuer have to make to a customer?
On prepaid cards? Well, what we've tried to do is a couple things. Recognize that with prepaid cards, there's packaging and there's limited real estate there.
So how many disclosures? Is it going to be 3 or 4?
Well, it's whatever fits on the packaging, and that's not a whole lot. Okay, and then the rest will be on the inside, and people may never really see that because they typically will have bought the card before they ever get to the inside packaging. So, you know, the key things in terms of fees and charges and the like, and certain protections are on that outside. We have several model forms that people have been able to give us feedback on.
I'm just trying to find out how.
It's not. It's very little room. There's not a lot of disclosure there, at least on the outside packaging.
And what about on the inside? That's somebody's going to pay for that. So
yeah, well, you know, we're not mandating a whole lot of that. Most of these disclosures are institutions doing it themselves for their own legal protection purposes, not required by the agency.
It's not a gotcha thing. I'm just trying to figure out how many are you requiring.
You know, it's all in our proposed rule, specifically what is being required, and then everything else is being added by the companies themselves.
So I guess the information we had, it could be up to 3 disclosures, depending on the state and their state law. Would that be fairly accurate?
Well, state law can matter. That's possible. What I'm saying is, on prepaid cards, the number of disclosures is going to be pretty limited on the outside of the packaging, which to me is what matters most, because that's what people are going to see before they actually decide which card to purchase. Right. And we're really focused on that.
And I guess kind of my point on this, and a little follow-up to maybe some of the previous lining of questioning here is, you're talking about simplifying it, trying to make it understandable. By your own words, you just made comments that people were confused, they didn't understand. But you're putting in more disclosures. We have long forms, we have short forms.
No.
And I guess basically, you know, is that really simplifying the process?
So I want to be real clear. On the prepaid cards, the amount of disclosures that people will have before they decide which card to buy are going to be very limited. There's a limited real estate there, and we have been very careful about what is on there and what's not. It's a real boiled down summary of the key terms of the product. I think it is in line with what you're saying in terms of making it accessible and understandable for people.
Well, thanks.
It's not my desire to confuse anybody.
On that. You know, I just happened new to the committee, but February 12th, I happened to write down what the national debt was, and between 12th February to today, we've seen that rise over $31 billion. And it's pretty much my sense that whether it is by fee or by appropriation, the ultimate payer is hardworking folks in my district that are frankly struggling right now to be able to keep a roof literally over their head and to be able to make some of those car loans that have been discussed. But we're looking over some of the expenditures that you've made through the CFPB, and it's my understanding that you spent over $60 million in business management. Is that relatively close?
Yeah, and one of the things I would say is we started off as an agency from nothing in 2011, and we've been building an agency over the last 3.5 years.
That's what frightens America. We see you building Washington.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've had to contract for a lot of services as we've been building out our own personnel. Sure. So
yeah, tell me, what is business management? That's kind of a nondescript sort of a term to spend $60 million on.
It has to do with all of the apparatus of running an organization. I mean, it can range from things like human capital to finances to technology and infrastructure. I mean, there's a lot that.
So this infrastructure is included in your business management?
I don't know offhand exactly what document you're referring to or what the definition of that term would be, but I'd be happy to work with your staff to make sure you get the clarification
I think that'd be interesting, because consulting fees, those sorts of things, those all come into play as well.
Okay, if you'll show us, we'll work with your staff, and if we understand the document and what the what we're saying, we'll try to make it clear to you.
Written, and just for my own edification, even though you've been in business just a short period of time, do you have any former CFPB employees that are now working for some of these business management groups?
I really would not know the answer to that question. Not that I know it, but I don't know.
Okay, would that be a conflict of interest? Is there any kind of a delay period on that?
There are the same statutes and rules, and we have our own provisions in terms of people potentially being able to go out and engage in a conflict of interest with their former employment for a period of time, the same as you would have in the Congress, I imagine. Maybe it's somewhat different for a congressman, I don't know, but yes, we're careful about that.
Great, we will follow up.
If there's more you want to know about
questions for
that.
clarity on that.
Yes,
Thank you.
sure.
Time